All right, next part of the job. Here's the, we got 13 8-foot fence panels right from US Fence. I'm at their corporate office because these right here, these are the last ones in Southern California. They're actually out of black. That's back ordered for 3 to 4 months. We were gonna do black, but you know what? The white's gonna be sweet. And they had exactly the amount that I needed. 13 panels is all they had left. Now they had plenty of these, which are the posts, kind of like the base. They had plenty of brackets, but I've got literally their last panels. So pretty sweet. It's all loaded up, ready to go. We're in Riverside. It's like Garner Road, as you can see, right there. So should be sweet. Be a lot of work, but this is. I just called the inspection line and asked for inspection. They said they won't do a little inspection. They want to do one final inspection, so I have to have those in before I get anything. So it's sweet. All right, so I got the material here. Regular fence guy's fired. He never showed up. So me and Lucas are doing it solo, but here's all the pieces. So kind of the way it worked was we located where we're going to put the post, and then we had to shim this one because right there's a lot of texture and different. It wasn't real level, so we shimmed it, pre-drilled it, sent the screws down, pulled the screws back up, coated them with a sealant, filled the sealant in the hole, put them back down, drilled a hole in this, popped one lag bolt into the wall, so that will be super strong. And then, approximated 5 feet and 5 feet, cut these, put the bracket insert in, and now we're just about to place the first one. We're using the 2x4s to set the lower clearance, so it's going to be level, which is a little weird because the whole thing is sloped. So if we were to actually plumb these and level it, this would get higher and higher off the bottom because the bottom is sloped. So it's gonna be sweet. And we got our helper, and people are leaving. That's Deborah and her mom, Susan. So we're making it happen. So follow up in a bit. All right, we're moving now. So we got kind of a system. Basically, the end ones are kind of hard because it's going to be a cut piece and a cut piece, and the end piece is kind of tricky. But when you get in the middle, it's more or less doing on the long runs, it's more or less doing a fence. So what we found, rather than doing so many measurements to set the posts, we found it more effective to lay all these panels down. Drill the holes. We're doing a 1/2 inch off the bottom plate and 4.5 inches off the top plate. Pre-drilling, laying them down, shooting the bolts in, and then we tilted this whole thing up, already assembled, and then basically where the flanges landed for the posts, we just marked them and then anchored them and kind of plumb them and level them as we go. And that was way faster. Like, we probably did this whole section in the amount of time we did those two. The only little bit of a bummer, I guess not really a bummer, is it's kind of an odd length. So I had to do a short section here. So maybe I could have figured out exactly, I could have split the difference. So these would all be maybe 7 feet and 9 inches rather than 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, and 5. But I still think this looks good because this is a 5, this is about a 5, just under a 5, and then this is just over a 5. So like the smaller sections kind of go together, and then it really stretches out, and we're going to keep it stretched out until we get to the other side, and then it'll be tightened up a little, smaller sections. And these brackets really make it pretty easy. I mean, I'm trying to keep everything tight, looking really good. But if there's a slight error in measurement, you get a little wiggle room. Like this one's got just a little bit of a gap. So that one was cut 1/8 of an inch, maybe even not quite a quarter, between 1/8 and a quarter short. It's not that big of a thing. It looks good, it's tight, it feels good. So it's a nice system for the floor, for the ground. That needs to be watertight. We're using these, they're not timber locks, they're headlock, nice spline drives, and I got Lucas run them down, and as he does, I'm feeding on 100% waterproof silicone flashing. So the silicone is kind of getting pulled onto the threads and filling the hole and just filling everything. And so I'm gonna keep these in my hand so you can see, like, well, I guess, shoot, you can barely see, it's clear, but there's a small bead in here, so everything's gonna be very watertight. And all these didn't need shims. I mean, this part is not sloped, so those are easy. Where it gets tricky is really the end, in the end, because the deck is sloped, so we're compensating a little bit for that 2 inches of slope over the 10 feet span. So, you know, and it's up against the wall, and so that's slowing us down, but these are cruising. So I want to knock this out, so I'm not going to videotape while we're working. I'm going to get back to business, but that's the update right now. Alrighty. You know, of everything, this was probably the one of the quicker, easier, and faster projects. So there's my buddy. I think it turned out sweet. It looks really good. Got a little bit more cleaning up to do, but nice. I mean, nice for sure. You also, like, I gotta fill this hole, so I punched that hole in there to lag a bolt into the wall to make it super solid. You know, the whatever they were, the Torx drive timber locks or whatever, definitely nice fasteners to use. The clear silicone for sure is the way to go. Even though the first few holes we used the white, and then I changed over the clear. The clear was nicer, but it's sweet. It was really nice. You know, overall, I think I'm happy with the 5.5. It's actually 5, just under 5, a little over 5, a little under 5 in the 4. You know, just a little bit of a different spacing there, but actually I think it's gonna work out good because we're talking about hanging a. They make a hanger to make a little hanging bar stool, a hanging bar, so you can put some stools here. This would be a perfect spot for it because it's very well anchored. So that's kind of a plus of doing the shorter section. There's all my leftover scraps. You know, I could have used one less panel, and that would have been an 8-foot section and a 2-foot section, so it'd have been like a post right here, and that I just don't think would have looked right. So I'm glad we centered it up. It's just sweet. I mean, the whole space is like, it doesn't feel, it feels more of like a room now, like more of a place that you would use. So this came out to be 4 foot height. It was a 44-inch panel. You know, it doesn't feel so high. So like, I'm holding the camera at face view at 5'10", so you know, you walk up and it's not in your way. You don't feel like it's like really high. I wouldn't have done a 5 foot, but I also wouldn't have done a 3 foot either. The 3 foot was for sale. I feel like that's just gonna hit you right below the hip and have you flip over. So just pumped. It's super nice. And then we ended with a couple 5 foot sections there. It's really awesome. So this deck was nice. The whole life coatings, or, you know, Dexotex was another brand. We used the life coatings. Awesome place. I'm putting together this bench right now, but didn't get to finish that. So that about wraps it up right there. Just nice, you know. It's just easy. I mean, whatever length you need, boom, cut. Make sure you have this in the center so you get equal amount of distance here to here, and then self-tapping screws. Pre-drill it was helping. I mean, just sweet. It's a nice job. And there you go. 607 square feet or something of patio.